Part 2 of The Long Pathway, Part 1 down below. Anyway, I didn't get introduced formally, but I wasn't aware of what was going on at the time and didn't ask to. This girl was fairly average. Not bad looking, but not the type that would really catch my eye normally. However, talking to T last night, I inquired about her again. She said that she is a single mom with a daughter about my daughter's age. Said that she thought of giving the girl my phone number but wasn't sure. That this girl was a bit obsessed with getting to know all the details about people but was essentially a good person. So, I'm stuck with the conundrum. I would dearly love to have a female friend to talk about things with, outside of my married female friends, and just flirt and be happy for a bit. But I didn't feel anything toward this girl when I saw her and have been told she can be obsessive. Should I have to give her my number and just see how it goes? Or should I stay far, far away until my divorce is final and I've had more time to reflect on things? A good problem to have, I suppose. I thought it through a bit more and decided to hold off. Until the D is final, I don't want to give her any ammo that could be used against me. I can just hear it now. Yeah, I screwed around on you while we were still married, but you talking to another female is taking it too far. I'm going to fight to get D7 now. Not that she would have a leg to stand on, but I don't want the drama, and right now I have what I want. Just got this text from STBX. All I can think of all day is just how badly I screwed everything up. I am so sorry. What to do with this? I thought I was getting closer to healing. Ignoring her, easy to say, not so easy to do. I called her, didn't grovel at all, but just said thanks for acknowledging her wrongdoings. I don't think she misses me but misses her kids and her easy life. If she would have learned to appreciate it, just hurting so much tonight. Need to be able to do I see every day but can't afford that. I feel so pathetic. Seriously going to sleep now. I can't save it. It's over. Okay, this is going to sound really freaking weird. With all this crap going on, I had a strange inclination today to look up old girlfriends and first ex-wife today. Like I'm not even sure what I would say, but it was a weird feeling for sure. I haven't done it, but wondered if anyone else has had that feeling. So, let me confuse this whole situation even further. After exposing the affair, doing the 180, her life imploding after moving out, it's all working. Too well, I think. Her and OM are split up. She was fired from that job but has a new one lined up already since she was looking for supplementary work anyway. Her sister tells me yesterday that she's having second thoughts, finally out of the fog, about all this and many regrets. I read on here about people going through months and months of separation. I offered that to her in the beginning and told her that if she had any doubts at all, let's call it a separation. But she told me no, I want a D, so I filed. I wasn't about to put up with the BS and be even more of a doormat. Now we're probably only a week or so from it all being a done deal, and I'm worried I moved too fast. I think I did all of the right things, but did I move too fast on the D? Feeling confused. One part of me thinks I could never trust her again, and one part of me wants to let her live alone for a few months and see if she can get counseling, work through her issues and be a better person. I'm too compassionate of a human being sometimes. She called me this morning bawling, saying that if it weren't for the kids she would probably not want to live anymore. Ex herself stuff. I don't really think she would do anything, but it's scaring me. I'm not sure if she's fully aware of anything right now. I told her the other day that my attorney almost has everything done with the paperwork, but I don't know for sure if it hit home with her how close it is. After her talk of X this morning, I went to see her during my lunch break. I did not want my kids growing up knowing that their mother had offed herself. 2x4 me later. She cried and said that she was so lonely without me and the kids. Such a huge mistake she made and it's all her fault. She's spiraling badly, which I know I have to let her do that. She asked me if I would let her come back. I said I didn't know if I could ever trust her again. I said if it happened it would only be on my terms. I mentioned counseling again, and she said she couldn't afford it. Then I told her I cannot be with an alcoholic. Watched her walk to the sink and pour out the liquor she had in the freezer. I don't know. That may have been just show. I need to see actions. Get her priorities straight and choose to get help. I can't afford it as no excuse. Figure out a way. Use the money you would have used for booze. No one can do it for her. I honestly can't see her actually doing it though. I'm keeping the D train moving full steam. If by some freaking miracle she starts to do the heavy lifting and moves mountain, and truly starts turning things around over the next several months, well, we'll see where I'm at in life and if we should think about getting to know each other again. As hard as it is to say this to myself, I have to let this D go through to protect myself and my kids from this woman that I no longer know. Is there something I should text or email to her that makes it clear once and for all that will stop her from trying to lure me in? Or just stay dark? We have to talk sometimes regarding kids. In my situation, my wife has asked for help before too. Back in January, February timeframe. She wanted to go to rehab for her eating disorder. Hadn't started really heavily drinking until that point. I called around but she had to be diagnosed first by a therapist before they would admit her. So, she went to one counseling session and never went back. The affair started not long after that. I know she needs some help. Rehab may be the best thing for her. From everything I read here she has to be the one to take the action to seek help, right? So that I'm not rescuing her. I talked with my dad today about it. He echoed what my IC and you all have said all along. that I deserve better, that I have a lot to offer someone and happiness is out there. Time to work on me for a while and take care of my daughter. I felt a ton better. I love that old guy, he's taught me well. And you all as well. STBX called me to finalize plans to get the kids this weekend. You heard right. Her new job has a tighter schedule and she finally has 2 consecutive days off in a row. This will be the first time in 3 weeks I'll be alone by myself, trying to come up with some stuff to do. Anyways, I did not talk about anything else. I was cool, calm, dispassionate. I did not mention the email. Pretty proud of myself actually. Does any of this even matter now that my STBX is no longer with this guy? I'd like to forget he ever existed, although he is going to be moving into the same apartment complex as her. Nothing says they won't rekindle their fog after the D is final. She's proven to be a liar, no matter how much I believed her before. It's screwed up, because since I exposed the affair, to her first, then to everybody, she had been the one to tell on herself. I would have had to dig to prove the PA, she admitted it without me asking. She told me about the F-up at work, that she had been fired, that the fight had led to a breakup. But I'm not convinced they're done. Which is why I'm done. Damn it, this is hard. Seriously, tell me straight. I know I need to change, I really do. I cannot let myself get walked on again. I know that. But at the same time, I feel like I'm being fake. The D is happening, I know that. But I'm second-guessing myself in every move I make. GP, you told me to be still and observe. I'm just not good at that right now. Let me give the forum an example. D7 has a dance recital coming up on June 9th. Received email from Dance Studio that tickets went on sale today. It would break D7's heart if her mother was not there. So, I initially typed this email up, "Are you off work on June 9th to come to D7 dance recital?" That sounded too indecisive and needy in my head, so I erased it and sent, "I am buying us tickets to this. You have Sundays off, correct?" A bit more alpha, I thought. Even if it's over, I expect and demand that she be there, right? Don't get me wrong. I want to change myself. I need to change myself. I cannot go through this a third time after losing a child, 2 wives, and now a stepson who I raised for a decade. This pain is nearly unbearable. I hate this roller coaster. I was so unprepared for it. There is nothing like your daughter screaming out "mommy" late at night to get your heartbeat going. I ran to her, but she was already back asleep. This poor child. I pray with her every night. She's getting the worst of all of this. My heart hurts, literally, and yet I know not what to do. I'm a grown man and this hurts me so much. I cannot imagine what thoughts are going through her head. I have to be strong for her. Trying. I have a lot to work on about myself. It all feels so unnatural. Which is the point, I suppose. This is going to be a long journey. Wish I would have figured it out years ago and could go on this journey with my wife, while she figured out her own self-happiness as well instead of turning to alcohol and other men. Wasn't meant to be, I guess. Spoke with my IC today, and we had a good discussion about boundaries. She even gave me a book called Boundaries to borrow and read. I'll read it when I'm done with awareness. Anyone read or know about boundaries? She said she just had it given to her and has not read it yet but had heard it was a good one. Had an interesting thought tonight. I've been off of Facebook for a couple of years, but got back on a couple of weeks ago to reconnect with some people. It got me thinking. My STBX always got jealous of other females throughout the years. For instance, when we got together at the beginning, she wanted me to stop talking to a particular female friend that I was fairly close to. She was worried that this particular friend would get me in a compromising position and I would fold. I told the friend that my fiancé was uncomfortable with us talking and stopped talking to her. All through my marriage I have always been conscious to not get too close to other female friends. Fully focused on my wife. Ironic that she was always worried about other women seducing me, and yet look what happened. No. Wish I had some non-married woman friends today, but I pushed them all away. I'm trying to look at it this way, poor judgment on my part. I did not know her well enough and did not know, and still learning, how to set boundaries. We met and were married in 9 months. I'm convinced now that that is just too short of a period of time to truly know someone. If there is another woman in my future, I will take things much more slowly. After the counseling appointment today, I took my D7 to a restaurant early in the afternoon. We had not had lunch yet and we were both hungry. I have today and tomorrow off to be with her. The waitress that was working was no stunner but had beautiful eyes. I could not stop looking at her. So, after the meal when she dropped off our check, I told her so. "You have beautiful eyes, by the way," and just gazed into them. She blushed and said, "Thank you so much." "Not really, thank you." As I signed for the credit card receipt, I left my number at the bottom. Then I remembered to look at her ring finger. Bingo, there was a ring. I was feeling so confident about complimenting her and giving her my number, but so terrible for just flirting with an apparently married woman. Maybe it was just the way waitresses normally act to get big tips, and maybe I'm just super sensitive right now to any sort of positive female interaction. But I felt bad. Like if she actually called or texted me, what would I do? "Look, I really would like to get to know you, but I just got cheated on and I would not want to be the OM in another woman's life. I'll go back this coming weekend after I get paid. Have no idea what her work schedule is though, so it'll be a crapshoot whether or not she's there. No biggie though. On the other front, apparently, I've pissed off the OM. After emailing his wife to check on her and see about getting coffee, we reeled off a few more details of what had gone on during the event where STBXW got in a fight and was fired from her job. She tells me that he had sat down with a girl to chat, and my STBXW saw them and flew into a jealous rage. I asked STBX about it when she stopped by to CD7 last night, and she confirmed it. She asked me why I was still talking to OM's wife. I told her that I deserved to know all the details, even though we're divorcing. I don't think they are together at the moment, but I'm sure the opportunity will present itself when he moves into the same apartment complex as her. If he's smart, he'll see the craziness and not get involved with her at all. Why do I even care? So much anger still with regard to that, but getting better. Anyways, OMW emailed me today something like, "Did you tell STBX we have been talking?" OM knows we have been talking. Now he's pissed and he just left. But he shouldn't be pissed about that. I think you have a right to know the truth, and so do I. I'm not sure why he would be pissed since he knew we were talking back and forth, but I guess I pissed him off. From what I've pieced together from info from her, OMW, and a brother-in-law that works with someone who was there, she got into an argument with OM and the people there seriously thought they were going to get violent with each other. So, they asked them to leave. This tells me that it was pretty bad, because if there's one thing my STBXW never was violent. And it was pretty rare to even get into a really bad argument with her until the last 6 months or so. An update about why OM was pissed. Over the weekend my sister and Bill came over. They had heard from another Bill who worked with someone that has 2 part-time jobs, one at the catering company and one with my bro-in-law. Said he was there that night and saw them getting into the pool, apparently skinny dipping. Of course, I'm hearing the third or fourth hand at this point, so who knows what the truth is. STBX had said a couple of weeks ago that they'd gone swimming, but knowing her she wouldn't have gotten naked in front of a bunch of strangers. Anyway, that's why OM was pissed, that this guy was telling lies about them going skinny dipping. It doesn't matter. They messed up, they're paying for it. Had kind of a cruddy day today, having trouble staying focused on work. Before D-Day, well actually before she started the catering job, other than a few medium-sized arguments and red flags that I conveniently swept under the rug, I was content in my own little cozy codependent world. I could focus on work and know that I would come home to a loving wife and kids and relax. Or just be busy with kids' sports and activities, but at least we did them as a family. I think I'm getting over her fairly well, but miss having a companion in the evening to talk to, touch, and do things together with the kids. Now it's just me and D7. Stepson 13 moved out with and is splitting time with her and his dad. I love my daughter dearly, but it's just not the same cozy little rut I was used to. At work I have a fairly analytical job and focus on my growing list of things I used to be completely on top of. It's worrying me a little bit. If I had a physical job or one that took less mental ability, I would just pop in headphones and listen to audiobooks, music. Which is why my house is so much cleaner than when she was here. After daughter goes to bed I just put on music and clean. Pretty mindless, but it keeps my mind off things. I'm just not getting that satisfied feeling from busting my hump, or mind as it were, at work and feeling appreciated when I get home. I'm trying. Today is better, but it's forced. Like I said, before all this all I had to focus on was work, so it was natural and easy. Now I have so much running through my mind all day it's more difficult. Being warm and vibrant is no problem. I have not stopped that. My problem is probably that I have an office to myself. My employees are in a room together adjacent to it. Maybe I should just go sit in there with them sometimes. They would hate it, but perhaps it would do me good. Daughter has dance recital rehearsal this afternoon, but it started so early I had to take a half day off work to make sure I could pick her up from daycare on time, dress her and get her there on time. So, I had a little time to kill before that and went to the restaurant where Beautiful Eyes works. She wasn't there unfortunately, but I chatted up a couple of people who were there and had a nice time. Coffee set up for tomorrow with OMW. Nervous about it for some reason. Not that I'm going there to try to date her, I wouldn't want to be anywhere OM has been, ever, but nervous about reactions to it. I'm going there just to share war stories, but at this point STBXW and OM are broken up and I think STBXW is already out looking for OM too. By doing this am I starting some sort of childish one-upsmanship? Well, if you do this then I'm going to do that type of thing. I don't play games like that. Somehow it just dawned on that our 9th anniversary would have been only 2 weeks away. I'm betting that the D will be done right around that time. How bittersweet. Going out, I'm not going to tie too much to it, but just looking to be confident about me for a while and see what's out there. Who knows, maybe it will just be a bunch of couples and make me jealous. I'm already determined to just say oh well if this is the case. I'll still network, meet some peeps, and have a good time. Maybe some of them have friends that are in similar situations and I'll end up with someone to talk to. The anniversary thing. It surprised me tonight that I had not been thinking about it. I've never been one to forget anniversaries and such, but it felt like maybe I am really focusing on myself and not thinking of her as much. It was a good feeling rather than a bad feeling. Need some help crafting an appropriate response to this text from STBX. Note that I guess not my anymore, stepson 13 has moved into his mom's apartment 40 minutes away from where I live. His dad lives in that same town as him. His dad is likely going to court to ask for primary custody of him soon. BTW. STBXW works nights, weekends mostly. So, this would be her normal schedule to have D7, but only has Sundays, Tuesdays off. Since she has to close, which means working till midnight, on Saturday, she won't be getting D7 until Sunday mid-morning. She texted this, just curious if you want to take SS13 at all tomorrow night. You said you've been thinking of him and I have to close. I also texted SS13's dad. Just thought I'd ask. I have been thinking of him. I raised him for 9 years. I even went to a baseball game the other night so that I could see him and watch him play. However, this text sounds too much like before he moved out. To me it sounds like since you'll have D7 anyway, why don't you babysit SS13 too so that I can have time to myself after work? Of course, the spin is that I still want to have contact with SS13, but really that's just me babysitting. Shouldn't his dad step up and watch him if they don't want him sitting by himself in her apartment all day? Or shouldn't she hire a babysitter if she's not wanting him to be alone? I feel like she's trying to manipulate me again, and I won't have it. I have nothing at my house of his anymore. She took all that away. All he would do is sit in front of the TV all day. She fired me as a husband. I should not have to be her babysitter of her son that she claims to care so much about but refuses to find a job with more normal hours. I guess I should just be happy she has a job so she can pay me child support. I know that sounds petty, but don't I deserve some me time? I know if I said yes, I would end up watching him all afternoon and she'd probably have him sleep overnight since she gets off work so late. And probably not show up until much later on Sunday because I assume she would go to party since she didn't have any kids to watch. God, that sounds horrible to say it that way, and I feel selfish for saying it. But saying yes to watching him just sounds like me taking on her consequences for her choices. The old codependent me would have done it in a heartbeat, but the new me is sick of being used in this way. If I want to see him, it should be on my terms, not so that I can be babysitter for her. Is that selfish of me? Am I being a jerk? I'm detaching. I can feel it. The last 3 weeks have been better than bad, but still the feelings come from time to time. Is it just nice guy or codependent to feel the following? I know she cheated on me, treated me like I was lower than dirt, needs therapy badly. But what if all it took was me saying just come home baby? We can work through this. I'll help you, and she would say that's what I was waiting for you to fight for me. Of course, I'll come home. Update. Oh my god, I'm a mess now. I took a call from her, thinking it was about the visitation arrangements I had sent her an email about this morning. She was bawling and crying and asking to come home. She is sick of being away from the kids and still loves me and wants to come home. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to do. She said she'll do anything to make it right. What the hell do I do now? Oh my god, what a mess. I longed for so long to hear those words, and now that I've heard them, I'm at a loss at how to respond. I didn't say anything for a long time on the phone. She said it's probably too late and she hates herself for what she's done. I'm so conflicted. I know what I want. I want my family and my wife back. I had been hoping for so long that she would want to come back, but now that she has asked me to come back, I don't know how to know it's for real and just not a plan B thing. I haven't answered. She said she wanted to hear me say yes, but I couldn't. Told her I would talk to her later. When I was on the phone with her earlier, she said that she wanted to call and tell me this so many times over the last few weeks. I asked her why she hadn't. She said pride. Crisis averted. My counselor called back and we talked about some things. Also, a friend of STBXW talked with her and discussed the fact that she doesn't need to try to move that fast. Yep, moving forward with D, and I'm less stressed out about that than trying R and having it blow up in my face. I made my list last night, and was astonished how many things I wrote down, looked at the item, and said she won't commit to that. Not really. Feeling focused again this morning. As far as I know, her and OM are not even friends anymore. And no, just considering taking her back yesterday was starting to make me scared and nervous, so there's no us together possibility anymore. She has screwed up her entire life and we're all seeing what she is like when I'm not around to rescue her all the time. Looking back, I can see how much I just took care of all of her issues and she never had to deal with her own consequences. Update, apparently, she got fired from her current job. She lied to her boss about why she needed a day off and they caught her in the lie. Imagine if I had taken her back yesterday. To be honest, I feel pity for her. Even though we're done, it doesn't stop me from feeling compassion for her. I just won't be fixing her problems anymore. At this point, I'm certain any more reaching out from her, it is just the monkey looking for another branch. What I'm seeing is that her friendship with the OM failed and that she's currently mad at him. I'm certain she'll get lonely and reach back out to him, and when he tells her off again, she'll try the I want to come home thing again. But here's what I don't think she gets fully. I am not plan B. I've told her as much on numerous occasions, but I don't think she really gets it yet. Maybe getting closer though. She's self-destructing, and I want no part of it anymore. Camping with D7 and friends this weekend. Most of the weekend I've been able to relax and focus on me and daughter. When I picked up D7 from STBX yesterday, X started bawling. Talked to her last night after she told my daughter good night and she was still crying. I'm a compassionate person and I genuinely felt bad for her. Why do I still feel this way? Even after being screwed over, I can't handle hearing her cry. Had a great time with her on the lake with good friends and their families. D7 had an awesome time with kids her own age. I got sad at night when she went to sleep and I was still up with the adults, but I suppose that's to be expected. My would-be anniversary is in 2 days. Divorce paperwork is complete and on my kitchen table. Tonight, I swung by STBX apartment to see if we could discuss details about visitation. As agreed per text messages earlier today, when I showed up, I could tell she'd been drinking. She invited me in to have dinner with her and the kids. Stupidly, I went in. We ate, then went outside to try to discuss the details. It didn't last long. I got another cry fest from her about how sorry she was and that she missed me and loved me. Then she told me, you obviously don't want to be here. F you, just leaves. I was about to leave when she told me she missed me some more. I'm clearly not out of the woods yet here, people. I need to be able to walk away at the first inappropriate behavior. Says she has a counseling appointment on Thursday. I say, that's good, counseling is really helping me through my stuff. Then she tried to get me to kiss her and take me to the bedroom. I wasn't buying it. I told her no. She said she's sad that I hate her so much. I told her I didn't hate her, but hated her actions, and an action to do anything to change them. Hugged daughter and stepson and left. And yes, her actions are still telling me that she did me a favor. I really hope her counselor can make progress with her. Not for my sake but for hers and the kids. The ship just got real for STBX. I think having the papers in her hand made her finally think about what was happening. She wanted me to come to her house to see D7 and be able to talk. I called and said I was more comfortable over the phone than in person because of the incident the other night. Said that another incident like that wouldn't happen because she's done a 180 of how she felt the other night and is no longer drinking. Lie? Who knows? I still said no to visiting her apartment. So, she went into it. She said that she's been thinking things over and that D7 needs to be with her. She doesn't agree with the papers and will not sign. She thinks I'm a great dad and all but thinks that D7 is a little girl and needs to be with her mother. And D7 also needs to be with her brother, my stepson 13 half-brother of D7. She wants to be properly served so that she can hire an attorney. I calmly said, you really want to go through all of this? What do you think you can prove in court after you had an affair, abandoned us and have lost 2 jobs in the last month? I thought you did not want this to get ugly. I also reminded her that she lived in a 2-bedroom apartment with her in one bedroom and S13 in the other. She said, well, I was a stay-at-home mom for all of those years because you wanted me to. Twisted logic there. I never forced it, so you'll have to pay me child support and probably alimony so I'll be able to afford a 3-bedroom. I said I needed to get my plan together for my next move and said goodbye. Correct me if I'm wrong here, but there isn't a court on the planet that would give this woman primary custody of her D7 after the wreck she's created of her own life, right? After the affair, her leaving the house and kids to move to a different apartment, where OM got an apartment that same day in the same complex. Even if she stops drinking, gets another job and continues counseling. Right, she just signed up for food stamps and welfare because she has no job. I have a stable job with a great income at a company I've been with for 13 years, a nice home where D7 and I live in a very safe community, have never lost a job due to being drunk or straight-up dishonesty. She had a pretty sweet deal lined up before her where she was getting some retirement money and me paying off the debt due to her giving up the house completely and giving me primary custody. This woman is truly nutty, and she talked with an attorney and didn't tell him the whole story or talked with an idiot of an attorney if they really think they can win this one. On the bright side, I no longer feel sad about the pesky anniversary date thing. Talked with D7 tonight. Talked about how she was, what she had done today, etc. Talked with me for a long time, which was nice. STBX had taken them to the store and bought an entertainment center, new table for the kitchen. I'm assuming she opened another credit card or something. There is no way she could have bought all that without that. Then as I was saying goodbye to D7, she asked if I would be picking her up or if STBX would be dropping her off. I said that she would be dropped off at my house. I heard STBX say something in the background, and D7 said, can you pick me up here? I said, how about we meet in the middle, and I clearly heard STBX say that would be nice. I don't feel like this was a number 3 since I really need to get D7 back here with me so that I can figure out my next move. I have D7 back with me safe and sound. More drama from STBX that I will elaborate on in the morning. Taking the day off tomorrow so that I can make sure and talk with my attorney tomorrow. I said I would give details about the conversation, but I just don't feel up to digging it all up. To sum it up, in an emotional rage yesterday she started saying some really hateful things to me. She's still blame shifting a lot. She is fixed on the point that a little girl needs her daughter, and her example was that D7 had not been bathed while we were camping last weekend. Okay, guilty. She missed a bath for the 2 days we were camping at the lake. The thing is that we have many examples of not bathing for a short camping weekend when we did it as a family. For you non-campers, it sounds gross, but it's just what happens when you're camping for 2 days. You come back dirty and bathe when you get home. I'm seriously worried that whatever scumbag attorney she might have will blow this and many other things into huge things that make me look like a horrible father. I'm not. I took care of both kids for 2 months when she left. She kept throwing in my face the years when she didn't work and took care of the kids while I worked. 2 months versus several years is what she kept saying. I don't want this to get ugly. Maybe it's for selfish reasons, but I just don't want to have to endure that if possible. Is it possible for me to calmly approach her about joint custody for D7? Renegotiate our deal and try to move on. I am worried that this is probably a large part, a money play for her, and while I want the best for my daughter, I feel defensive about her taking me to the cleaners after cheating on me and leaving me and the kids while in the fog. My comment: do not give her what she wants. Lawyer time. Protect yourself. These conversations with her need to be recorded. Part 3 ending tomorrow morning.